Okay, today we're going to be talking about natural resources as one of the capitals or one of the assets that we have in all communities. And we have two experts that are going to be working with us on it. First one is Gary. Gary, tell us, who are you?
Well, I'm an interesting kind of person in that I'm trained as a theologian and a preacher and a sociologist, so just couldn't figure out what I could do, I guess.
All right. And you live where?
I live here. I've been the director of missions for the Baptist Association in Pickens County, Alabama, which is in West Alabama between Columbus, Mississippi and Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Okay. Mitchell, tell us who you are.
Okay, I'm Mitchell Roberts. I'm a lifetime resident of this area, and my interest is in agriculture. I've been involved in it my entire life.
And before you retired, what were you doing?
I was, I guess they call me superintendent of research centers at Mississippi State University.
Wonderful. That ought to qualify both of you for...
Those would be agricultural research.
Right, yes,
Right.
sir.
Good. All right, Gary, tell us, what are we seeing in back of you here?
Well, that is a portion of the Tennessee-Tombigbee Waterway. It was opened in 1985 with the idea of being able to take coal out of the Appalachians and timber from Alabama and along up through there and take it from there down to the Gulf of Mexico and the port of Mobile. The idea is that you save about 700 miles of travel if you're coming from East Tennessee, Eastern Kentucky. It was a good idea, but about the time they got it opened up, the kind of coal that you could bring out of Appalachia wasn't that acceptable anymore, and there was a lot of timber coming in from what they were doing down in the Amazon and other parts of the world. So it's never had the economic impact that it was intended to have. But it sure makes a nice place for people like Mitch and I to live, with plenty of fishing and hunting and just enjoyable places to be.
Mitch, you are a resident here.
Yes.
How do you make use of this?
Oh, I fish.
Do you?
That's the primary use I make of it. Mine would be recreational, but I just enjoy living here on it and just seeing the barges go up and down the river. You know, we're tied in now to the Tennessee River and of course by the same token the Ohio and whatever. We got shipping that goes up through here to on into.
So they are using it for shipping?
Oh yes. Yes, it's, there's a lot of wood products locally that are shipped on this thing. A lot of timber products, and we have a lot of oil and whatever shipped up the river or down the river, mostly up the river. You know, that oil that is imported or whatever, it goes from these refineries on the Gulf Coast up the river.
When we think about natural resources, what else comes to mind?
To me, in this area, timberland, timber. I think there's a tremendous amount of timber. Say in Pickens County, we're probably looking at 75–80% of the total area is in timber. A lot of it's in plantation pines. We have quite a bit of hardwood timber that's...
Am I sort of oversimplifying to say that a lot of, initially when people moved here, a lot of them were trying to reproduce the cotton kingdom in the West, but things changed, and now a lot of the land that was planted in cotton in the 19th century is now planted in pine trees, and you have pine forest plantations.
So that has changed the need for workers to a different type.
Yes, yes. There's You get away from farmland, employees to, and you go to people that work in the timber industry mostly. We have several sawmills in the county, and of course they're processing, timber, processing the lumber. Yes, it does. We need a different type of employee. And of course, anytime you talk about resources for any area, probably your number one thing is people.
Right.
And we do have, we are working now. The county is building a training center, vocational type things that people can learn trades to try to attract industry.
Okay. Is there anything else here in terms of natural resources that we ought to be focusing on?
Well, a lot of wildlife. Lots, the fish that we just talked about back behind us. There's deer all around, and we have a lot of deer hunters. There's almost as many deer stands as there are houses, I think.
Maybe more.
In the county. And then churches comes in third. Then there's quail, and we have a couple of people that raise quail professionally and have hunts. And then there's turkey. A lot of turkey hunters here. There's a place here at Westerveld Lodge that hosts a lot of folks that come in to hunt. And Cameron Lodge is outside the county, but a lot of folks come in there to hunt as well. That too is a natural resource. 'Cause in this county, there's a lot of springs. It's amazing how many of the churches and communities are called springs, and to me, that's another natural resource that has played an important role in the settlement and the development of things here in this county.
Now, Mitch, you were working with agriculture.
Yes.
That's a great natural resource, of course.
Yes.
What changes have you seen in the last few years in agriculture?
Well, mostly technology. You have the genetic engineering. You have those kinds of things going on. I think, and it's just it's changed. It's gone from small, individually owned operations to bigger operations. I was thinking about this the other day. If you tried to make a living on what I grew up on today, you'd starve.
What was it?
It was a small cotton farm, cow farm, and I can remember back as early as at one time it was a dairy. We had dairy cows too.
Right.
And but today you just about have to grow your food because there just wouldn't be enough.
Where was your farm?
It was above Tupelo at Baldwin, Mississippi.
Right.
And it was, like I say, it was a very, there were 6 kids, 6 boys in our family. And we actually ran, we did that.
Yeah.
And
How many acres?
it was 100 and some, much over 100.
Right.
And we had a lot of, we spent a lot of time in the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one other resource that
Did
I
you
would...
plow with an animal, or?
No.
Okay.
Now, I can remember the animals that were used on the place for plowing, but they were inactive, and I think we just didn't want to get rid of them because we knew what their destination was.
No.
And so we kept them and fed them and that kind of thing.
Right.
But I'm talking about huge drought horses.
Yeah.
And then one other resource in this county that I failed to mention a while ago is the cattle industry. Down below Aliceville, there's some of this black prairie that's across the river. It comes down across the Alabama line and of course goes all the way to Montgomery. But we have several sizable cattle operations down below Aliceville in Pickens County.
And you also have a lot of, in the more northern part, a lot of small I don't want to use the word hobby farm because they'd be angry at me, but they're folks that still have a cow-calf operation probably, but they work in town and I guess to support their farming habits.
Right.
Yeah. We need to be wrapping this up, and I want to ask each of you, is there anything you think that the church and the natural resources people need to know to work together?
Well, I think that the church in this county is a big part of people's lives. And I think that the people in this county are more, they're probably closer to their church than most places in the world. And I think that there is a tie there that we do take advantage of. Don't you, Brother Farley?
Yeah, because you're part of a small church. I mean, really small.
Yes, right.
But I believe that some folks are just small church people. You know, we don't need to beat up small churches for being small. They serve an important role in the kingdom of God.
That's one reason I'm in that small church.
I know it.
Right.
And me too.
All right. Well, thank you to both of you for taking time here today to share a little about natural resources as an asset to the community.
I'm proud to do it. Thank you.